Welcome across all space and time for a very special edition of the Captains Quadrant, where we are joined not only by two special guest hosts, but a third, all the way from America's Australia, Becca from Florida. Thank you for joining us.
Australia. That's just because everything wants to kill you here.
Yep, exactly. You get the analogy.
We do have that in common for sure.
Yeah, and joining us again this week, and we are so glad that she and he are Admiral Annie and Enterprise Bingo Champion Jason. He keeps promoting himself every week. Now he's
clearly enjoying the spoils of his bingo championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't think that there's a rank above this one, so this may be the ceiling.
Oh wow, you've hit it. You've hit it.
Hey.
And of course, my number one, everybody's favorite, Science Officer Jason. Here in the Captains Quadrant.
Yay.
I'm ready for this.
Oh,
so I've just invested in a new pet. I found this like in the backyard. It's a tribble. So I'm figuring nothing will ever go wrong owning a tribble, will it? I mean,
no. Just
what can possibly happen?
Right. Well, if you found it in Australia, it's going to be venomous.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. All right, let's hop into First Contact.
Thanks.
Yeah, we try to have a little bit of fun, make it a little whimsical.
I'm embarrassed for all of us right now.
How do you know that didn't actually happen though? Like
on set, they probably edited it out.
Would have been a very stressful moment. Things happen under people's stress.
Hey, Shatner cut one during his captain's interview. So I mean, that was a famous thing. Everybody went out and like bought it because they wanted to hear Shatner fart.
Yeah, Shatner.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I've got to look up on
weird
YouTube.
fans in this.
This group is very special.
Look at me. I'm like YouTube now.
Yeah. YouTube. This was a very fun episode. A lot of throwbacks. This is Spock, Amok. I just want to say that the biggest thing that got me out of this episode was the throwback fight to the death with himself. It was an internal fight, but they brought back the original battle weapons from the original 1960s series. But not only did they do that, they also brought the theme.
Yes.
Is it that I can't hear that now without thinking of the cable guy?
No, I did the same. I did the same.
I did that.
Well, what did you do?
We went back to
technical issues. It's the trouble.
That really stood out. But you okay there? Oh,
yeah.
You got two of them now. You got two tribbles
Let's
now.
Move on.
All right. So let us get into the episode summary.
Spotter-Klon, oder hör mir zu, eine Sullivan, oder eine Sullivan.
All right.
Yes, the Sullivan.
The Sullivan.
For our German friends out there.
Yeah. My cousin's German, so she watches. Thanks, cousin. Hannah, love you. Hope to see you soon. It is a comedy of manners when Spock has a personal visit in the middle of Spock and Captain Pike's crucial negotiations with an unusual alien species. What did you guys really think of? Just a quick tidbit of what you thought of this episode before we
lovely, absolutely lovely.
Whimsical, nerdy, and just clever.
Yep. Beck?
I liked it. I really liked the throwback of it all, and especially the music. I had to look up who was doing the music for this one because he did a bunch of them, but it was great. I loved it.
And Jason?
Yeah, look, it's
Science Officer Jason.
No, that's not me, is it?
No, you're good.
That's me. That's
you're
somebody
good.
Else's.
No. I'm saying, what did your overall?
Oh, right. I thought you were talking about the feedback.
No. Don't worry about that.
Oh,
we're all giving feedback.
I think those triggers are doing something in my head. Anyway, look, I loved it. It was a good throwback. It had a lot of, fun bits and pieces. It was very much a will they, won't they kind of thing with Spock. And I was a bit worried he was going to, especially that scene when they eventually do. I thought it was going to get a bit,
Oh, wow.
But thankfully they kept it PG. So I'm happy with that.
It's Paramount Plus. They'll never get to that part of it.
Gone.
Fourth grade teacher, what are you doing?
This is going to be shown in the principal's office.
Oh, most likely.
Yeah, right.
But they kept it clean as they did the beautiful cutaway to the window.
Yeah,
it was very classy of them.
Yeah. So let us jump into our favorite segment, the pros and cons.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
This episode you may not be able to show.
Who made those? Just tell me who made those.
Hey, look, I got bored, all right? I was busy editing. And
I hate you so much right now.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be
Everyone
shit.
knows the meme, though, don't they? The
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into pros and cons. Let's go with Becca, our guest this week. What were your pros and cons of the episode? You could start off with pros, and then we can go into cons.
Pros, obviously, like I said, the throwback of it all. I love the music. I'm big into scores and just how it sounded and was just okay. Anyway, but other than the music, because I could go on. Pros, I would say I really like the development in the story of the oh gosh, what's her name? Sorry, I'm forgetting her name. First off, no, not T'Pring,
Una.
First officer. How they started developing her character, and all of a sudden, like this different side of her came out. Because I can really, I can get the fun thing. Because I'm like, I've got kids and everything. They're like, let's have fun, and I'm like, oh, fun. What is fun to you? I want to clean. But pros, I mean, character development, the love story that's starting to come out in that one, the Nurse Chapel.
Nurse Chapel
Was
yeah.
I'm like, okay, T'Pring, you watch out.
Yeah.
But as far as cons, the only thing that I could think of that was a con was the ending. I swear I thought that it was the end of the episode like 3 or 4 times because it was such an extravagant end, and I was like, oh, okay, there's still more, which is great. But I was like ready to go to bed. What's going on?
Yeah.
But that's I think the only thing that I could really think of that it was a con necessarily.
All right. Admiral Annie, please, your pros and cons.
Oh, pros. We're delving deep into like Vulcan lore in this, right? With the Katras and the soul sharing and everything.
Yes.
Which I love that they chose to go down that route. Like I've been saying it the whole time we've been talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, but I feel like this is scratching all my right Star Trek spots. Like we're hitting the Vulcans. We're like going deep into like original series territory. Like this episode was like a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm obsessed with this episode. Cons, I had one little like, that is interesting. When they are sitting down with the Rongovians, and La'an is awkwardly excusing herself. I know that Star Trek, like obviously, like Starfleet is not the military in the way that I have experienced it. But for her to say, it was some like the way that she was like, I'm just going to go do some like security things or something. It just felt very, it felt like a poor word choice. And that's honestly like, I am being so nitpicky because I've loved every single episode. Like, I'm like, oh, I got to find something, I guess, like to complain about, I guess. And that was it. So, I mean, this is like, oops, we forgot to like dot an I in like a 5-page essay. You know, everything was so great.
And we got to hear from our Bingo Enterprise champion, Jason.
Oh my goodness. I have so much to say about this episode, but I'm going to try to keep it brief because I don't want to monopolize everything because I'm not the Enterprise Monopoly champion yet.
Oh,
thank you for the rim shot. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So this was a 10 out of 10 episode for me also because my one con, I haven't even gotten to the pros yet. The one con I have, I would not have even noticed if it hadn't been for Trek culture. But right after Mr. Spock's dream sequence, he goes to the mirror to check his ears, and the makeup job on the ears from the back were just really bad. But I wouldn't have even noticed that if it hadn't been for those nitpickers. So it's not my fault. As for pros, there were several things that this episode did for me. Number one, the characters on this show are so great that they pretty much can carry anything, in my opinion. It reminded me a lot of Deep Space Nine episode, which, Becca, I don't know if you've gotten to it or not yet. It's called One Little Ship, where they take a runabout and shrink it to about that big. And it is such a dumb Saturday morning cartoon premise. And I think they knew that because in the first 10 minutes of the episode, Kira, says, wait a second, we're going to shrink a runabout to this big. And then she starts laughing. And she can't stop herself from laughing. And it was kind of like, yeah, this episode is stupid. But look, they know it's stupid too, so it's okay. I think whenever, the whole body swap thing, I think whenever Pike came in and said, you swap bodies. And he kind of goes, like that. Yeah. And it's great to see, characters laughing about just this absurd Saturday morning cartoon premise, but it makes it all work. And my last thing, and I know I said I wouldn't take up too much time, but I feel like I am. No, Enterprise Bingo, it makes the Enterprise feel like an honest to goodness community. And I don't know. Absolutely. It's aside from maybe Deep Space Nine, I don't remember a Star Trek series that just nailed a sense of community like Strange New Worlds does. And we're only 5 episodes into it. And I already buy that this is a ship with history and traditions and the whole signing the Scorch thing up at the front of the saucer where they all had their signatures there. Oh my gosh. I got to thinking about that, and the fact that ship blows up in Star Trek 3 just like breaks my heart because that the Scorch went with it.
Oh yeah, that's
totally.
Oh,
yep. Okay, I'm done.
And our wonderful grand science officer, what did you think, Jason?
Yep. Look, I'm just going to be repeating what Enterprise Bingo Champion is going to be.
Oh wow!
But massive pro has to be Pike in the green tunic.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Like, stop being so damn handsome, Captain Pike.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Oh, keep it up.
And that's
He's so good at it.
About Jason, where he walks into Spock's room, and the way because he doesn't say much, but the way he facially kind of reacts to what's going on is just so perfect. And the tone of it, like you said, everyone's in on the joke. They understand that they're in a funny episode, and the humor is appropriately handled throughout. Enterprise Bingo, the Scorch plate. Oh, like it made me think, gee, they said that's the last bit of the hull that remains, like the original piece. Yeah. So straight away, I'm like, geez, that ship has gone through a lot more maybe than I thought it had already. Yeah. So, which was really great. It's just the way they interwove all these 3 storylines, which is just so well handled. I was thoroughly impressed with an episode that maybe in the old days people would have gone, oh, that was a filler episode, But they took that kind of the concept of a filler episode and they made it like front and center and important to the series as a whole because of the community, because now we are more emotionally invested in all of them. Even in Benga, and I don't care what they said, that hat rocked.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. That was going to be one of my pros.
And the little smile that he gave to camera as he's casting in his, his fishing rod. I just thought that said a lot just then and there as well. So
nice break of the third wall. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, but it's just the fact that he had, and we know what that guy's going through. We know the absolute torture he's going through in his personal life. So to see him just have a little moment of peace and harmony was wonderful as well, I thought. Yeah. But the whole Freaky Friday thing. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was an episode of Will They and Won't They? And eventually, they which was great. Good for them.
I gotta add something else.
Yeah.
I never knew Vulcans could be this funny.
Yeah.
The whole bit about now that you know the truth, Captain, maybe you've noticed the difference in our mannerisms.
Yeah, right.
That's hilarious. That was so freaking hilarious. I died a little bit.
And hats off
but
to
I
their
came back
performance, because I totally got that they had swap bodies.
Right, because Spock's mannerisms were different.
Yeah, playing the opposite character.
Oh yeah.
They did such a good job.
The actors did a great job.
Yes.
Oh, she's wonderful, isn't she? She's who is she again? What's her? Did anyone know the actress's name?
Gia Santu.
Oh, well done, Andrew. And she's
that's why you're the admiral.
So great as the friend.
Took a one-dimensional character from the original series and has turned her actually into a character I care about, because I can see where she's coming from. Like, Spock, you do kind of suck. You need to spend time with her.
Yeah. I thought this.
Can I expand on?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it your turn?
No,
I'm still looking at the show notes and everything, and I did.
It's like double dutch. Just jump in.
Jump in.
Yeah. Okay. So. No, like one thing that really got me was the idea that there's still this running thing about, Spock being human. Of course, like this is something he's gone through his whole life, and he's still dealing with it even before all of this. And on top of that, I like the relationship that started developing, or that I saw, between Pike and the different characters. And again, like his number one, you actually start caring about her. You're like, oh, she wasn't just like we did with Pike. I think it was in Discovery that he first like showed up again, and it was like, oh yeah, it's Pike. Oh, and everybody still likes it, even though it was the test run pretty much. And they were like, oh, we're going to change things. No, here it is, like years later, and we're still, no, we want to know Pike's story. We want to know his number one story. And
we want to see more of that wraparound tunic.
Yeah.
Damn fine tunic.
The aliens with the empathy as a hallmark. We too listen. I thought it was really interesting that their whole thing was empathy. They're going to act like you act. It's a really golden rule kind of ideal where they're like, we all kind of mold to other people when we're in a conversation, depending, it's a rapport thing. And when there's this, all of a sudden, we too listen. When Pike came up and all of a sudden his demeanor changes, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And then by the end, where he's just like, I took a risk. You're like, yeah, Pike, get it. And then
a lot of that has to do with the actor Anson now.
He's very good.
Oh, yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Enterprise Bingo, since we were mentioning that, like I wrote down what they all were. Do you guys want to hear them, or did you read them?
No.
Okay,
Let's hear it.
Oh yeah.
Used transporter replicator gun, phaser stun duel, turbo lift 2-floor shout challenge. That's where they were like, go to the bridge, go here. Set the universal translator to Andorian. Gravity boot hang challenge. Medical tricorder challenge. It says Vulcan Marupal. I'm not quite sure what that means. Medical tricorder challenge with Vulcan Marupal. I don't. Food replicator challenge. Durian Fruit. Durian Fruit. Does anybody know? It's like Duran.
Spiky fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
It is a very stinky fruit from Thailand.
In real life,
got it. There are so it's like a one-trip challenge kind of deal.
You can't bring them. You can't even bring them into a hotel. They won't allow it because it just smells so strongly. People describe it as like a rotten fish.
It's like stink bug. It's like you got a swarm of stink bugs coming in.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Why do people eat that?
But
apparently to some people it tastes really good. I've tried it, and to me it tasted like rotten garbage.
It also restores all 20 hearts in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild too.
Science Officer Jason, you know what Marmite is? You know what Marmite is, right? You're from down under.
Yeah. We got the key Marmite is Vegemite down here.
Well, I prefer the like for some reason it's like stickier, resinier or something. The Marmite is compared to the Vegemite. But yeah, that's the only thing that I can really think of that stinks that I would actually eat like that. Like cheese is good and all, but like there's a limit.
On a side note of Vegemite, we as Australians are a bit cruel because we get people from other countries try Vegemite and we just get them. We go just put Vegemite on butter, on bread. And it's not the way you eat Vegemite. The way you eat Vegemite is you put it on, you have a bit of toast, butter, and then a little bit of Vegemite. So if anyone ever asks you to try it, just a smidge. Because even for us, too much. Yeah.
I love that.
I actually have another con that I actually. I actually have a con that I want to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a con, and I was going to say this, but I completely forgot. Did anybody else notice that Enterprise Bingo was not actually bingo? It was just a list.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I was waiting for someone to yell out.
Yeah. Just like
and
you
yelled out bingo.
Is bingo different in the future?
It could be. It could be.
And the other thing it implied
like
that it was a challenge, but they seem to rip through them pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you get into a phaser stun duel and see how quickly you come back from it, because I think there were some time cuts.
Yeah.
All she said was it stung. It didn't seem like too bad.
Well, she's also augmented, so I mean that helps.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. People forget. I didn't forget. To me, I thought this was a great episode of deep diving into Spock. Each episode has been into a character of the ship. I was hoping that we would get Hemmer, but my con this week is there was no Hemmer.
No Hemmer.
No Hemmer.
Love you, Hemmer.
Very upset.
We love you.
Yeah, it was very sad.
They're like drug dealers. They give us just a little bit of Hemmer, and then they make us wait.
Yeah. Give me some more of that Hemmer. I really appreciated this. I love the acting by Ethan Peck. He has a good range as he, did a face-off with T'Pring. It was so refreshing to see him come out of his own shell as Spock. And I think that his development as Spock is surpassing Zachary Quinto more and more with each episode.
I like his iteration of it more than I like Quinto's.
And I really like Quinto's too, but Peck is just nailing it. And a fun fact is this is Gregory Peck's grandson, which
that's right.
I didn't know until recently.
You can see it when you look at him too.
Yeah,
I'm some good stock.
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, so I just thought that was great. My only con, aside from lack of Hemmer this week, was the fact that we finally get to see the phasers, but they looked very different from what I remember, even in the 60s or even in the Discovery show. So I don't know if there was a change there or not. So,
maybe you can look at it like it's handguns,
Yeah.
No offense, but you American know all about them. But there's so many different models.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I feel personally insulted.
No, me,
I know that's a low blow, but what can you do?
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for me on the pros and cons. So let's jump into 10 forward.
This is terrible. I like it.
And this is the section of the show where this is open forum. Anybody can say whatever they'd like about this episode. So I saw your hand was up. You looks like you're about to say something, Beck. Go for it.
Oh, I was scratching my nose.
Oh.
But, sorry. All right. So whatever I want, I could just talk about the music forever.
Yeah, you can go for it.
Actually, I'd like to ask you.
Well, it's by Jeff Russo.
Yeah. Actually, I'd like to ask your opinion on the opening theme. What do you think of the opening theme, Becca?
I love it. I love how Jeff Russo has used variations like in Discovery in the opening. And in this one, it's so much like the original series. And I think that when I was reading about it, they did that intentionally. They really wanted it to be the Roddenberry concept, and they do it so beautifully, and they do it with a fresh new, because Discovery, they call it dark or, whatever. It was more of like, I love Discovery for the ship, but whereas it had that tone to it, I love that this still like Annie said, it like pushes all those good buttons. It's exactly what I would expect from the original series with a fresh new perspective, and especially in the song, you can hear that. And it starts out and it's like, oh, there's his voice, he's saying it, and it just takes you on this journey of these violins, and you're like, oh, I love it.
What I love too is they've obviously taken elements from the original Star Trek theme, but right in the middle of that theme, they've developed their own theme for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, which I think is really smart. So they start off with that original Star Trek, and then they kind of end with that nice little tag at the end, kind of alluding to the next theme. But in that middle section, that's all brand new, and it shouldn't work, but it works so well.
True. And I love how Pike, like, I still get Kirk energy from him at times, but while Kirk was his own character and he was brazen and, he had this personality and, that's all great. And I still get, Kirk from him, and I get that feeling.
He's so dreamy.
But he's his own captain. Yes, he is. Oh my goodness. He's his own captain. He's his own, goodness and, Starfleet incarnate. I love it. I love Pike. And like I said, I love that they brought him back after so many years, and it was like, oh, he's still relevant. And on top of that, like that's a different series. I'm not going to get into that. But the fight scene, we talked about the fight scene. I loved the fight scene. I loved from the music. That was the first thing that got me, of course. I was like, oh gosh, the music. It sounds exactly like that episode where he's fighting the what's that lizard monster, and
the Gorn
fighting him on the planet. The Gorn. Yes, the Gorn. Like, that's what it reminded me of them fighting in that music where they're just like tumbling and scuffling, and they grab their hands and they do like this, and I like, gosh, it's so nice to see after all the different iterations. Am I using that word right? The different kinds of Star Trek that they come out with just lately. This one is so like the original series, very Roddenberry, all the Roddenberry feels.
Perfect balance.
Yeah,
but I will say that opening dream sequence. I mean, Sigmund Freud would have a field day on that.
Oh, yeah.
Really think about that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, it's interesting.
And
I love. Oh, sorry.
No.
We could go on for this. In the beginning, one thing that I love that T'Pol mentioned was Vulcans love beauty. Like, just because they're, they express their feelings, they still appreciate beauty, and her dress and, the scene of it all and everything. It's so beautiful. And, to have such a stoic, even temper, you see it in the people. It's just very interesting concept. So, yeah.
I love the Amok time reference with the battle scene to the death that he was having with himself. I thought that was excellent. And the alien race that they were having a negotiation with, I thought I heard them mention Tellarites, and
they
They
did.
did.
Yeah.
Yep, they had previous negotiations with them.
Right, because I remember in the original series, it was the Tellarites, it was Spock's dad.
Yep.
And was it the Andorians were having some type of Yeah, they were. I remember that episode.
Journey to Babel.
Journey to Babel, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I just thought I expected to see someone with like really weird mutton chops and pig prosthetics, but then I never got that. And I was kind of like, where's the Tellarites? Did they come in? But
when the Gregorians, they're called the Gregorians, came in, did anyone for a second think, is that Armin Zimmerman?
Yeah, I was wondering who that was.
As soon as I saw the shorter one, Is that him?
No,
I
would
kept looking at it. It isn't because I did my research on it. But I'm like, oh no way! They found a role for him.
I gotta find out.
No, it's not. We looked it up.
It's not.
It's not.
No, I was so upset too.
Do the research. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no. His last role was something else.
Hey, actually, I've got a question for Jason because I think Jason will be able to answer this. And I've forgotten. I forgot to research it. What happened to the planet Vulcan? Why is it so messed up? Do you know?
If I remember correctly, it's because of the war. It was the planet was devastated by nuclear fallout, and that would have been during Surok's time. Yeah.
And was that because was the Romulans and Vulcan war, or was it a civil war?
It was a civil war between the Vulcans. I think that shortly before or after that, the Romulans took off and did their own thing, but it wasn't necessarily Vulcans versus Romulans. They were all Vulcans at the time.
Yeah.
It's ironic, isn't it? So ironic. Such a logical species did that to their own planet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was part of the reason why they became so logical, right?
Because
they were going to destroy
their own planet.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, let's just shut these emotions down for a minute. All right. Let's just chill.
So Armin is in a show called Close Enough right now. So he wasn't they probably thought of him
as a voiceover though, isn't he? Close
Enough? That's by the same people who did regular show, if I remember right. It's on HBO Max.
Correct.
I've seen a few episodes. It's good.
Yeah. So that's what he's doing right now. But Jason, bingo champion here, give us some things that you want to speak about. Open forum.
I actually had this pointed out to me earlier because I reposted something about it was a meme that said, I don't understand how anybody who watches Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars, seeing all these people working together could grow up to be racist, because we all know there's that kerfluffle in the Star Wars community where a bunch of people are, I can't remember the actress's last name, but her first name is Moses. I can't remember her last name. Ingram, yes. Who, in my opinion, is doing a fantastic job on Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the only reason why people hate her is because she is doing that part so well. But all these people are like...
You're supposed to hate her.
Exactly. Well, all these fans are like sending her just racist, hateful DMs because they don't like her character. No, it's not her character you don't like. But I reposted that on a Facebook page that I run, and somebody said, it's kind of ironic that Anson Mount, who came and defended her, which I thought great interplay between the Star Trek and Star Wars fan community.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which Anson Mount is a stand-up guy. But somebody said, it's kind of weird that somebody on Star Trek would take that stand when Star Trek is basically saying that every alien race is this homogenized stereotype. All the Ferengi are greedy, all the Romulans are treacherous, all the Vulcans are logical. And I think that there are exceptions to that, but I think for the most part, that's a fair point. What I like about this episode is that it's taking the oldest species that we've had in Star Trek, 58 years now we've had Vulcans in the show. All the Vulcans have been alike. Even, Spock, Tuvok, T'Pol, they have all basically been on that same level. I am a Vulcan. I have no emotions. But now we're starting to see this wonderful variation among the Vulcans. And although we did get some of it in Enterprise with T'Pol and, exploring her feelings with Trip and, doing all that stuff, I think that Strange New Worlds is doing the Vulcans such a huge favor by showing us, like Becca said, they do appreciate beauty. They do experience love. Just don't do it openly in a restaurant or they'll tell you to leave.
Yeah.
There's this great growing nuance in these characters where we're seeing that they're not all alike. They have layers, and even negatively, because we met the racist Vulcan, which I guess you would call him a spacist Vulcan. You're sleeping with a half breed, and then punch, which I thought was great. But I like that. I like that Vulcans can be more than what they've been. And I really enjoy that Strange New Worlds is bringing this wonderful, let's just call it an infinite diversity to this established iconic species. And I think that the Vulcans are better off for it because they're not all the same anymore. They are wonderful individuals, both good, bad, and in between. And I really hope that we see more of this, not only with the Vulcans. I want to see it with the Gorn. I want to see it with the Tellarites. I want to see it with, whoever else happens to come by. I keep wanting to say like the Ferengi, but we won't see the Ferengi.
Yes.
Yeah, the Andorians. I don't want to see I don't want to see every Andorian going, blah, 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 blah. I like that Himmer's crazy. I want to see Klingons. I want to see a variety in the Klingons.
Totally.
They had a Next Gen episode where there was a Klingon scientist. And I think it was and she was like, I know what you're saying, a Klingon scientist. Klingons don't make scientists. Well, I'm a scientist. Not all of us are warriors. I'm like, yeah, you know what? There are Klingon scientists. There's Klingon janitors. There's Klingon school teachers.
I can't imagine how they got spaceships without scientists.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see a Klingon engineer like, we need more warp speed. Captain, we don't have enough power for warp speed. If we're going to blow the core, and then you would die without honor.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, fine. Drop out of warp. I knew that honor line would get him. Just bring up honor, and he won't kill himself.
Yeah, there you go. Admiral Annie, please.
Ooh, when we were talking about T'Pol and T'Pring, I was reminded of the link. They went back to, I think it was Jason was mentioning T'Pol exploring her feelings, and when they come across the Vitosh Couture ship of Vulcans in Enterprise, and that's kind of the premise for. I think that episode was called Impulse. I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong.
Scary episode. I love that zombie Vulcan.
Good.
Yeah,
super good. But they were saying, I can't remember who exactly on Enterprise was asking, how come you don't explore your emotions like they do or whatever? And T'Pol mentions how dangerous it is. And then we find out in this episode that this criminal, we're not exactly quite sure, or at least I can't remember what he's done to be a wanted man. But he also is Vitosh Couture, which I thought was interesting. So it's almost like, by being very emotional and kind of delving into those emotions, are they kind of flirting with danger? That was kind of my thought.
Very cool.
Very cool. Jason. Science officer. Sorry.
Yeah. Look, I don't have much more to add, to be honest with you. I think we're covering just about everything with this. The only thing I would say about this show overall that has me still a little bit concerned, but I'm getting better with it now, and I've brought this up before, is the Force Awakens of it all. The concept that we're still delving into very familiar things, even for those who are not hardcore Trekkies, they're still diving into areas that we all know and love. So, but I feel they are attempting to slowly move away from that, and I think that's very smart writing on the writer's behalf, because you've got 10 episodes, you need to engage the fan base that's already jaded, plus you want to attract more viewers to the show.
Right.
So you've got this really tricky problem of bringing people to go, this is what you love about Trek, and here it is, but at the same time trying to push it forward in a direction that is kind of new. And I think with this episode they are going that way, even though the body swap is out of the last episode of the original series. Can't remember the name of it. Straight from there,
Turnabout Intruder.
Yes, right. Turnabout Intruder. Not everybody's favorite episode. But certainly, but they are kind of doing well. I think they're kind of heading in the right direction. And the other thing I think was to flip back on what I just said is also what also makes this show work is it's 10 episodes. Even though I want 22, I'm thankful for there's 10 because these scripts are very specific. They are very focused. There's no fluff. Everything has got a point. And I think that's why this show, to me personally, is a step above anything they produced so far in this modern iteration of Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're doing I called it Enterprise. Why they're doing Strange New Worlds so well, but messed up Picard's last season, because there was nothing but fluff in the last few episodes of that season, and it just I don't know. It's almost like, they should get whoever runs Strange New Worlds to do the next season of Picard. And then I'm like, wait a second, it is the same people.
Yeah.
It's
so strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like where, like, Discovery has that tone. I almost called it Enterprise. Strange New Worlds has that tone. I think they're trying to work in that same kind of tone, in that genre of Star Trek, because it's so the shows are so their own thing. Like, I remember at first I didn't even like Picard because I was kind of like, okay, like, it's cool, I love it because I love hearing more of the story, but it wasn't what I expected out of Star Trek. And which, I mean, with Strange New Worlds, it's kind of what I've grown to expect from Star Trek, that original series, that they're going out, they're exploring, even not Deep Space Nine, but even Voyager still had that feel, because they were out voyaging. Well, they were stuck, but they were out exploring new things. So I think that it's just a tonal thing.
Well, I mean, one of the biggest mistakes I think that Picard did was it started out with this banger of an episode, and they were on the Stargazer. So you thought, okay, this is going to bring us to what we were expecting in the first season of Picard. And then they went and did Star Trek 4 over. And it was like,
right.
That's the problem. We all expected a sequel to Next Generation.
Right.
We just didn't get that. And really, at the end of the day, you're right. What is the purpose? I mean, we did a whole thing on it, Joe. We watched Picard and we did weekly shows, and we were like, I felt very much like when I first saw The Phantom Menace, to go back to Star Wars. I loved it. I loved it, didn't I? I did. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I did not like that at all. And so you get caught up in the moment because you attach yourself to certain moments and scenes throughout that, which is so right. Picard has really been a missed opportunity. And I've got to say, I know this is Discovery fans here, but that first season of Discovery, it was really rocky for me. I really struggled with that first season. Enough to say, guys, that I haven't actually finished watching the show.
Oh, man,
I love
season 2
it when
is
they go
so much better.
Forward in time.
Season 2 is so much better.
Season 2 is the best season of that show.
I agree.
Yeah.
What kept me was the Spore Drive.
The Spore Drive was cool.
Yeah, that's what that's what's got me on Discovery. Like, I couldn't care less about anything else. But like, that ship is my favorite. Period. I love Enterprise. Don't get me wrong, but I love Discovery.
That's my favorite.
Not so much, but yeah, for sure.
That's my favorite clapback whenever somebody talks about canon and saying, well, why haven't they developed the Spore Drive again? And I'm like, you really think somebody's going to get the idea to use mushrooms to travel faster than light again?
That's a once in a universe.
The hippie era is over.
Yeah. One thing I will say that as we close up 10 forward was I really liked seeing the solar ship.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was so pretty. It reminded me so much of
Shuttle.
Yeah, it did. Right? Shuttle, yeah. But it also reminded me of the Bajoran sun spaceship that they had. And it was just so like a slight homage to that. And I really appreciated that. I'm a big Deep Space Nine fan. I love Next Gen. That's what got me into Star Trek. Then I watched the original series with Kirk. And then I went into Deep Space Nine. I never looked back, man. I love Deep Space Nine. and just seeing that was just like, oh, wow. Even the homages they did in Picard just made me appreciate the underappreciation of Deep Space Nine. But let us move on to future speculations.
I ask you, Captain, what conclusion would you draw?
Happy Pride, Garrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy Friday. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
That
let's go
doesn't
ahead.
get enough credit, by the way. That does not get enough credit.
Garrick,
I mean, they didn't come out and say it, but to have the first, well, he was openly gay, I believe.
Garrick?
He never hit
Garrick
it.
was.
Eric was?
Rick Berman would not let them make Garrick gay, but Andrew Robinson has said that he played Garrick as gay, and that he had a crush on Julian. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so,
with the Julian
and
well, now I'm gonna watch it again.
so in my head canon,
blew my head.
Garrick is gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never noticed.
No,
Mhm.
me either.
Yeah,
I mean,
watch
it
it
makes
again.
sense now.
Yeah. I think at one point they gave Garrick like a love interest because they were like, "No, Garrick is not going to be gay.
Yeah.
He's got a love interest." And I'm just sitting there going, "Oh, look, they gave Garrick a beard."
Wow.
Oh no, she's dead. Okay, Julian.
Look at that. Years later. Well said.
Julian.
Well said. All right.
Yeah, watch the what we left behind special that they did. Yeah, Robinson talks about it.
Yeah, I gotta watch that again. It's been years.
Yes.
Admiral Annie, let's start off with you. What are your future speculations here?
Let's see.
Well, let's start off. Jason, do you have the title for the next episode, Science Officer?
Oh.
No, I don't. But you know what?
Oh.
Keep talking, Annie, and I'll find it quickly.
There you go.
Thanks for catching me out.
That
Captain.
may influence
No problem.
my projections.
Right?
No, I don't know. I'm just loving the episodic kind of freedom that we get with that. We're so used to being tied to these season-long arcs with Discovery and Picard that, you know, after a while, I want to say it kind of sometimes can become tedious. And I think we're all really enjoying the kind of lighthearted feel that Strange New Worlds has. So I just want more of it. I'm so enjoying this.
I'm going to build off of something that Jason said a couple of weeks ago. I'm rediscovering how much I enjoy stories that have a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, the next episode is called "Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach."
Yeah, that's it. I just go, yeah.
Oh boy.
Foreboding.
Suffering cannot reach.
That's interesting.
Any synopsis or anything like that?
No,
I don't, which is great.
Yeah.
So
that's a very foreboding title.
It is. Yeah.
So who do you think it's about then? If you were to pick them from that title alone, if we were to say it's a main character story, who would it be?
Is it too soon to see the Gorn again?
I was thinking that.
Never too soon.
Never too soon.
See, I don't know. I'm just automatically thinking of Benga.
Yeah, there we go. It's never too soon. There he is.
And Benga.
Yeah, and Benga. Yeah.
And Benga,
or Chapel. One of the two.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it could also be La'an as well. Please let it be Hemmer. Please, Hemmer.
Yeah.
We want Hemmer.
We need Hemmer.
Right?
Hemmer.
Yes.
Love you.
I really think it's going to be in Benga because Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. I think they're going to end up stumbling on his daughter, and they're going to have to pull her out of that stasis because that's where she's out where suffering can't reach.
I think you nailed it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
Dang.
man.
Nail in the head.
Yeah. I really have to.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, it could be wrong. It could be a Hammer episode, and I'll be like, "Yay!" But I was wrong. But yay, you know. But I really think they're gonna have to get into that, and maybe he'll lose his post on the show, and that's why he just appears in the original series as Benga.
I hope not. I really want to see him a lot longer.
I know.
Yeah.
I think we can get him for at least 5-6 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, it's 5
years. I was thinking about today, actually, about future speculations is how they'll eventually finish this show. And I'm thinking at this point, if I was in the writer's room, I would not actually finish it with Chris Pike's accident. I would not. No. I don't think that's
that's the big foreshadowing.
I think he ended a couple of years before that incident. You know, I just, I would hate to think that a show with so much life and energy and whimsy and just well-written stuff is then have to go down that eventual dark path, where
more about the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's focus rather than the destination. Let's just focus on, which the show's thematically all about. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Becca, what are your future speculations?
About the show as a whole?
Or the next episode, just the next episode.
Next episode? Ooh, I definitely see Nurse Chapel and Spock cozying up a little more.
Ooh.
There was such a
tension,
deep foreshadowing there, and I was like,
I'm going to play it, don't you? You know I want to play it.
Kids to bed.
That's where it needs to go.
Look at the frowny face. Look at the frowny face.
Hey, look, you're not going to be able to show your students this episode anyway, so I've just gone for it now.
Mommy, Mr. Gaston was on a show on the internet, and there was this thing called Prawn Hoob. What's Prawn Hoob?
Is that a Vulcan?
Yeah. Right?
No, but I definitely see Nurse Chapel and Spock starting to cozy up a little more. I am interested to see whose character we see get to develop a little more, because like the episode right before this, we got to see, in Memento Mori, how Uhura and the Andorian really Hemmer, they really start to not hate each other. He's like, oh, I'm fond of you, I guess. But I'm interested to see who comes next, because I don't think they're done. I don't think they're going to go back and necessarily but I think you really hit that title on the head. Yeah. That's probably what it's about now. I'm not really looking forward to it because it sounds depressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you were gonna,
am I gonna watch it?
Yes. Again, if you're gonna map out all your scripts, that's what you do, wouldn't you? Let's make a bright, happy episode, and next week we'll give them a dark episode.
Yeah, balance.
No.
Keep flipping it.
In the feels.
Yeah.
You gotta make it feel.
But Uhura, she was somebody else that was completely lacking from the episode too.
Yeah, no Uhura, no Hammer.
She wasn't.
Yeah.
I actually know why that's happening. It's COVID protocols.
Oh,
really? With COVID protocols, they have to be very careful who they can only have certain actors on set on certain days.
Wow.
That's why the Discovery crew was split up so much this last season. That's why Mary Wiseman left, and that's why Bryce disappeared and was replaced by that other guy. Yeah, it's COVID protrols. They're still. I was on the Paramount lot the day before yesterday, and they're still super strict about COVID
mask and
yeah.
Wow. All right.
Well, how long was it before security dragged you out?
5 minutes. I did scream my Star Trek pitch about Spock's animated adventures, into the final meow tier. But it might have been at a janitor. It might have been at a custodian. I don't know. They just looked at me and said something about basura, which I assume is Spanish for that's really good.
Any future speculations from you, Cap?
Enterprise Bingo Champion. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
No, Enterprise Bingo Champion, yes. And then we'll go to
Jason, you got to change your name. This is too confusing. And I'm not changing mine. I'm attached to it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put a poll out there, see what I can change my name to.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
That'd be good.
Check out our polls on. If you're listening to our podcast, be sure to check out our polls on Spotify.
Yeah. I can fly to Australia. We can do a Lerpa fight to see who gets to keep the
there
name.
You go.
As long as that music's fine.
Yeah.
I'm interested in music.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay. My future speculation, I think I said it last time I was on the show, is that so many of these characters are keeping secrets that eventually a price is going to have to be paid. And I think Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach sounds like it's going to be Mbinga this time around. And I don't know. I just have that title just gives me the heebie-jeebies as far as his daughter is concerned. Because if you remember, his daughter is suspended in a transporter beam and he pulls her out every other week to stabilize her or something like that.
Really problematic.
Well, the problem with that is though, kid actors age and his daughter can't.
Right. So they have to wrap that up quick.
Yeah, it's going to have to wrap up quickly, and I just don't see it ending well. I see it ending very tragically, and oh my gosh, I don't even like thinking about something bad happening to a child. But I speaking as a father who had a daughter who suffered from leukemia.
Oh,
there's nothing like sitting there watching somebody you love more than life itself battle something you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
And my daughter's fine. She's so annoying now, but she's
the security on you in this.
She probably did. Now she actually graduated high school a couple of weeks ago, which is why I've been absent from the show. But yeah, whenever y'all told me the name of the episode, that's the first thing I thought of was, I wish I could have lifted my daughter up to where suffering couldn't reach, but I couldn't. There was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
I just get a bad feeling.
Was that for her or was it really for you? And that's what the core question is going to be around Mbenga, isn't it? Why are you really doing this? Is it for her or for him?
And also kind of makes me wonder if if they do have to pull his daughter out of stasis and let nature take its course or something like that, wouldn't it be horribly hilarious if they were working on the transporter going, who beamed through here with bubble gum? It messed it all up. And Una's over there going, I don't know, but I'll see if I can figure it out. La'an, come with me. Let's go figure it out.
That's great.
All right. So, science officer, future speculation.
That I'll be watching next week's episode.
Oh, okay, that's great.
That's
no speculation.
Speculation I need.
All right. So we're gonna wrap this up. I am gonna give off the social media plug to Becca, who has a special project that she's doing, and I'd like to give her a moment to plug that. And I hope everybody that's watching participates to her great cause.
All right. So me and my family are going to be moving to Colorado.
It's a lot safer there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's so many people. There's so many people coming into Florida, and there's so many older folks that have come over here to retire that our healthcare system is overflooded. Like, as far as Medicaid is concerned, she gets disability, because her condition will never go away. And it's just, there are so many people in line for services. It's almost impossible to get anything done. She's turning 9 on the 26th.
Well, happy birthday.
But,
I'm sorry. Who are we talking about?
Her daughter.
My oldest daughter.
Oh, okay.
My oldest daughter. Our oldest daughter. Can you guys hear me better if I'm over here?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah. No. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but we're moving to Colorado because it's one of the best states to go to for autism services, mostly because they have umbrella services. But I'm doing a GoFundMe where we're giving away an entire box of Hot Wheels. Hold on. Hold.
Did she say Hot Wheels?
Yeah.
I love Hot Wheels.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You've got
it's
somebody
this whole
that's doing...
box.
Wow.
It's the whole box.
There's a Deadpool one.
There is a Deadpool in here. And we collected Hot Wheels for a very, very long time. There's also the Dark Knight.
And they're still in the box.
But we had, they're all still in the box. And we absolutely love them. We have an entire wall covered in all of the different Hot Wheels. But these are the Deadpool ones. I really like this because he's actually in there. He's in the chimichanga in the ice cream cup.
Cool.
Lovely.
I love these, but there's a bunch of them in here, and there's a bunch of Forza. But we're gonna pick a random winner from our GoFundMe to win this entire box, and we're gonna send it to them as a prize. If you go to my Linktree at linktree.com/PhilMathBoots, PHILOMATH. Yes. I have a link to my GoFundMe where you can contribute any amount of money. We'll get you into the raffle, but the more money you donate, the more chances you get, I guess, you know.
It's a great cause, and
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
absolutely. We're so happy.
We'll put them the links below, will we, Joe?
Yes, we'll put the links in the YouTube video, and if you're listening specifically on our podcast version, it will be in the show notes of the podcast. So we are here to support each other in this big brown, beautiful globe. It's actually blue.
Thank you.
we absolutely adore what you're doing, and we wish you the best. I hope you guys get a smooth transition and into a safer space away from all the alligators and the cougars down. And
I'm gonna miss it.
I know. You grew a lot of stuff. You're gonna have to just make some snow flowers, I guess.
Well, don't they grow a whole different type of plant in Colorado?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I love flowers.
I am a 4th grade teacher.
This episode is definitely rated R.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for us here in the Captains Quadrant. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for downloading this latest episode of Captains Quadrant. Please be sure to follow us all on our various social medias. Take part in Becca's amazing journey and help her along the way and win some Hot Wheels. What else could you ask for? It's going to be a great time. Giant box. What more do you need? I'm Captain Joe Dove. This has been Captain's Quadrant. Thank you for joining me, Becca, Enterprise Bingo Champion Jason, mouthful, and Admiral Annie. As always, thank you so much, guys. And to my number one, my science officer, be well. And to all of you out there, live long and prosper. Oh, there's too many tribbles.
No, there's better.